Hello friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. And I'm here today for another Monday this and that vlog where I talk about all different kinds of things. It's a way to keep you a little bit more updated on recent things, since all the rest of the videos you see can be shot 4 to 6 weeks in advance before publishing. But my Monday vlogs are published within 3 days of them being shot. So I also like to use this opportunity to answer questions and give you announcements and whatever I feel like talking about. So let's get to the topics of today. And I'm so excited about this first one because Rumble, so those of you who have never heard of Rumble, it is just another video platform, which I have had an account there for a few years now and have been uploading videos over there for the last 2 years. Yeah, I set it up initially as a backup place, but it's starting to really grow and I'm starting to like it more and more. And here's the exciting things. This was one of the things that really bothered me about Rumble, and I know a lot of people did too, was the inability to make playlists there. Well, I just discovered yesterday, and I don't know how long this has been available, but I can now make playlists over there. And so this is so great. That means I can start putting everything, especially those things that really need to be in a playlist, like my Crochet 101 series and my winemaking series. I just got done putting that full series up and in the playlist. And the next one, which hopefully will be up by the time this video publishes, is my Crochet 101 series. Plus I have a few other playlists. And then I have other ones that on YouTube are really long, have at least 94 videos or more in them. And I have some of those on Rumble that I did start putting in playlists, but I have so many more videos to go back over the previous years and get them over there too. And anyway, I'm just so excited. So if you're following me on Rumble already, now you know you have a way to access everything in one list instead of having to search for it all. So what I'll do, I always have my Rumble channel link below, but I'll also put below the link to the list of playlists so you can see the categories I have so far. But it's going to be take a lot of time and a lot of work to really build those up and add more playlists and get all the appropriate videos into each one. But that's just going to make things so much easier as far as all that goes. Then the next thing I wanted to mention was a flavored extract. So I'm going to be shooting a separate video on this, in fact, right after this one's done, but that will be one that will publish weeks out. I do have some older videos out on making flavored extracts. I'll link to the one I did several years ago, but I get this question a lot. People ask, well, can I make them without alcohol because I can't have any alcohol? Well, yes, you certainly can. But I've tried various different ways and solvents when it comes to making the flavored extracts. And when it comes to my vanilla extract, which I need to refill this one, my favorite blend is to use about 3 parts spiced rum and 1 part raw honey. The honey adds some sweetness and it helps kind of make it less alcoholic. But anyway, it's my favorite blend, is using even just straight spiced rum just really brings out the flavor of the vanilla more so than plain old vodka does. So for making it alcohol free, you can use just food grade glycerin. So you want to look for food grade and non-GMO, and Essential Depot has some that I still have a bunch of, even though I don't use it near as much. It is a great option for making flavored extracts in the fact that it doesn't, though it's sweet, it doesn't have a flavor to it the way honey does. You can use honey if you don't mind that flavor, but if you're concerned about the honey interfering with the flavor of whatever extract you're creating, glycerin is a better way to go. So when you're using things like honey or glycerin for making any kind of extract, the best way to go about that to get the best extract is to use 3 parts of the honey or glycerin to 1 part plain old water. And what that does is it brings down the viscosity of the glycerin and the honey, making it so that it will extract better. And though I've read that the glycerin extracts are supposed to only last 4 months, I don't agree with that. They will last far longer than that. And I've had some that I made with just glycerin and water. No problem. They last a very long time. Now, typically I I do for, you can see I have a whole slew of flavored extracts here. I have chocolate and coffee and cherry and raspberry and pineapple and peppermint and more. But I've tried things like using homemade wine, and then as the spiced rum, I've used that with some other ones as well. It just depends on what the flavor is. You may not want to use spiced rum because that may be another one that will interfere. This is why a lot of people go with something like vodka, because it's virtually flavorless. So it's not, even though it might have a strong alcohol flavor, you don't have something else that's interfering with the flavor of the extract itself. But again, this is why for something like a flavor, glycerin is the best option. Unless you don't mind the flavor of the honey, mixing with like your raspberry, that would be a good option. Your orange, your lemon, your cherry, and so on. So that's just a quick overview on that. And I'll link, in fact, I have an old video on making alcohol-free flavored extracts. I'll link to that one down below. But also I recommend be watching for that video down the road. It's going to be a little more updated. At least I think. But anyway, yeah, homemade wine is a good option for some as well. But just like with the spiced rum or the raw honey, with certain flavors that might not be desirable because it might interfere with that flavor. I found that when making my vanilla, I did try doing it with a homemade wine, and it was fine, but not near as good as using the spiced rum. The flavor of the wine can sort of interfere there a little bit. So a lot of it will also depend on how you're using it. Now, speaking of extracts, so I did finish my double extract of turkey tail mushroom. There's different types of double extractions. One form would be taking whatever it is you're extracting or tincturing, an herb, a mushroom, whatever it is. You tincture it for a couple months, you strain out all the bits, the mushrooms, the herbs, then take that extract that you've already made, add fresh, meaning ones that have not been used yet, they can be dried or fresh, ingredients to that, the same thing, and then let that extract for a couple more months. That should double the strength of your extract, especially if you're looking at using it for medicinal purposes. That can be a really good method. Now, this type of double extraction is meaning that I took the turkey tail mushrooms, like you can see here, and I'll put a picture here, and first extracted them in a spirit. In this case, I used tequila because I was out of vodka. We had this tequila sitting here that was left over from my son's wedding reception that ended up continuing on over here at the house. So we don't drink, and so since it was there, I used that to make the extract. Then I just yesterday finally strained it out after quite a few months, and then took those same mushrooms and then put them in a teapot with some water and then let that simmer all day yesterday. Then I let it completely cool and then took the two mixtures and blended them together. Now, a lot of you will be asking, well, why would you do that? Well, that is because, and this is something I've learned within the past several months and finally started applying it in the form of mushrooms. There are just certain things, and mushrooms being one of them, that you can get the most out of them, that when you go to extract them, your alcohol is going to extract certain types of nutrients, whereas your water extraction, your decoctions, or your tea is going to take out other nutrients that the alcohol is not going to take out. So by doing two separate extractions, you can use fresh ingredients for making each extraction, or like I did, I just reuse those because whatever the alcohol wouldn't have extracted would have still been in the mushrooms, and then the water would take that out. And so then combine the two. So you can do it a few different ways. So anyway, this is my first time making that type of extract or tincture, if you like to call it. And so that's going to be something we use probably more as an immune booster, but turkey tail mushrooms have all kinds of great benefits, which I have a video on I will link to in the description box down below. And then some more dehydrating. So obviously Thanksgiving is over. I took the remainder of the turkey that I didn't use right away for something else, froze it up, and then after that, let it sit in there for a couple days, and then chopped it up and dehydrated it. So that's what I have here, all nicely vacuum sealed. And then here is the turkey broth that I made. Now, someone commented when I posted this on Instagram, which yes, I have. I'm back on Instagram again, have been for a little while now. They said, wow, that's a lot, because it's 1.5 quarts. So, or 3 pints, in other words, of turkey broth. Well, how on earth did I end up with so much? So first of all, after I got most of the meat off of the turkey, I left everything in my big pot. It's like this big, my roasting pan. You can see a picture of it here. Then I filled that up with water, put it on the wood stove, and let it cook on my wood stove all day, all night for like 3 days. Then, because I'd left so much meat on the bones, before I did that, the whole idea was to take all of that and, after I removed all the bones from it, then take everything that was remaining, which would be bits of my wild rice stuffing, some of the herbs and spices that were used therein, and even the wine that I marinated the turkey in overnight. That was all already in there, which means the wine's going to also help pull the minerals and goodness from those bones. And there wasn't much broth left because by then a lot of the water had cooked down, so I didn't have a whole lot of that to worry about to dehydrate. So that was great. So mostly a lot of it was just the meat and whatever else was in there. So I spread that on my trays, as you can see in this image here, and then dehydrated that. And then I powdered all of it up. So that means this broth powder isn't just the bone broth, it's also meat and whatever else was remaining in there. So I thought I would give that a try. This would be something I'd use for making soups, gravies, and sauces. Once you vacuum seal it, which I recommend you do because there's very likely fat in here, vacuum seal it. You can store it on your shelf for years. But what I like to do is once I get to a jar, like I finish one jar out and I'm opening another jar, I take the open jar, which is usually I like to do them in this size, and I keep that in my freezer right here in the kitchen, and I work out of that. And the reason I do that is so that I don't have to vacuum seal it between every use. If it's not going to be vacuum sealed, then it needs to be frozen. But vacuum sealing it means you can save a lot of space in your freezer because you can keep it in your pantry as long as it stays sealed. If it loses its seal, the ingredients inside can turn rancid due to the fat in the meat. There was a gentleman that wrote us a letter that he sent, snail mail, and I don't know how long it had been sitting in there. We don't get to the post office as often as we should, but we were on our way out to our friend's house, so we stopped in there, picked up the mail, and it takes us about 15 minutes to get to our friend's house, which was perfect because that's how long it took me to read the letter that he sent. It was such a great letter and on the same page as us as far as our spiritual walk, and on the same page as our friends and their spiritual walk, that when I got there, and I hope this guy from Wisconsin, I don't know if he'd feel comfortable with me giving his name out, so I'm just going to say from Wisconsin so he knows who I'm talking about. And I hope he doesn't mind, but I had my friend read the letter out loud to everyone that was there, because everyone that was there at that time is, again, on the same path and seeking truth in Scripture. And I knew that they would be just as blessed by this letter as we were. And so I'm sharing that because I wanted this person to know how much we appreciated that letter. And the timing was just perfect. And they needed to hear the things that were in that letter as well. So it was absolutely perfect. So thank you for that. Then also let's talk a little bit about collaborations. I have closed out the craft collaboration, so please no more submissions to that, because I've already started putting that video together. And then the next collaboration is the fermenting collaboration. So if you're new to my channel and what all this is, they're photo collaborations. So it's just a way that I can take things that my subscribers have done, compile them into a video in photo format with some music, and then, ascribe the name that they want to ascribe to what they've created. And then get that out there so they can be a part of this bigger picture, and also to inspire others. It doesn't matter if it's something you've done for years or you're just new getting into it. And I have different topics. So as you know, the craft collaboration was one, fermenting collaboration. This will be our second year doing the fermenting collaboration, and many more. So what I'm going to do is link to that full playlist on all my past collaborations so you can see what we've done so far and just get an idea what we're looking at. So just looking at, you're taking some good clear, clean, not cluttered photos of whatever it is that you've created. So if it's a fermented thing, it can be wine, it can be mead, it could be kimchi or sauerkraut or vinegar or any kind of fermented fruit or vegetable that you'd like to share, fermented hot sauce or whatever, it doesn't matter. Even a kefir, if you've been making kefirs, be it milk kefir or water kefir, share any of these with us in nice, neat photos, and then make sure you let me know what name you want to ascribe to your photo. It can be just your first name, last initial, your full name, or your channel name or blog name. And then the last announcement, I just want to remind everybody that the Nakano knife sale, 30% off. You can only access that. Apparently people are just going and looking up Nakano knives and trying to get this 30% off. But this is why I give you the link in the description box, because you can't just go there and get 30% off. You have to go through my affiliate link if you want that 30% off. And you also have to add that coupon code RAINCountry for it to work. So both of those things. So remember, if you're not sure how to find any of the links, just look right down here below the video screen. It'll be somewhere along here, just below it in little words. You'll see either more ... or show more ... If you click on that, it'll open the description box so you can find the video links, the playlist links, the Nakano Knives links, or any other affiliates I have. And then you click on that. So if you're wanting to order and get that 30% off, that's the only way you can go about it. Because yeah, they contacted me recently and let me know that people are trying to just go the other way, and you're not going to be able to get that 30% discount. But anyway, that 30% discount is ending on December 10th. That's why I want to make sure I get that out there. If you're interested in more information on the Nakano knives, I have a few videos out. I'll link to the first one I did on the review, but that was before I got like the paring knives and the micarta knife, which I love them all, and the knife block and the sharpening tool, and loving everything that I've got from them. And so for me, it's been worth it to be able to have this affiliate. And like I say, if you can't afford it, don't feel like you have to go that route. It is a way that you can help support us, but I understand it is an expense. And I spent the first 57 years of my life using just whatever knives I had on hand, and some of them we found at garage sales. And I made it just fine. So if you're doing fine with what you got, I get it. But if it's just coming time where you need some new knives and you want some good quality ones, I highly recommend Nakano. They've just been a really great affiliate, one of my favorite affiliates to deal with, because they've really been spoiling me rotten. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed my this and that for the week, and any thoughts, ideas you'd like to share, please put those in comments down below. And thanks for watching. Take care, and God bless.